Welcome to this podcast, Holistic Creators, where we share our unique and universal stories about shaping the future for the 4 Ps: people, planet, purpose, and profit. My name is Swanette. I'm a mental coach and your host of this show. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to a holistic future. So welcome. Hello and welcome to my podcast, Holistic Creators. My name is Swanette and I'm your host. Today my guest is Vasavi Kumar. Vasavi Kumar is often described as a queen of saying it out loud. A first-generation Indian immigrant raised to Long Island, New York, Vasavi was relentlessly searching to find her own voice, access the freedom of her creative spirit, and help others along the way, out loud. When she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at the age of 19, she made it her mission to understand how her mind works, starting with making room to hear herself think. Her mission is to share everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, in order to teach a more mindful, practical, and simple way of running every aspect of your life. Through her Say It Out Loud podcast, keynote talks, group programs, social media, and weekly email newsletters, Vasavi has taught thousands of entrepreneurs, creators, and artists from all walks of life how to work through any situation by saying it out loud. Vasavi is a former TV host, licensed therapist, voiceover artist, and creator of the Say It Out Loud Safe Haven, an online support community. She holds dual master's degrees in special education from Hofstra University and social work from Columbia University. Most recently, she was on the May cover of Austin Woman magazine and was featured on VH1, NBC, Vox, Good Day Austin, CW, WSG, and many more. Her upcoming book, Say It Out Loud, will be published by New World Library in May 2023. Go to sayitoutloudbook.com to pre-order your copy today. So thank you for being my guest on this show today.
Thank you, Swanette. It's an honor to be here. How are you?
I'm amazing, and hopefully you are too. And I'm so happy to speak a little bit about how you became the person you are now. So immigrating to the US is, I think, one of the step points that helped you to create the person you are now. But give us a little bit of an overview about your story and who are you now and what are you doing?
Yeah, so I just want to first correct that. I did not immigrate here from India. My parents did. I'm a first generation Indian immigrant, which means that I'm the first of my family to be born here. My parents came from another country. So that came with its own set of challenges, right? Having put a lot of pressure, having immigrant parents who obviously wanted the best for their kids, my sister and I. But I did grow up in a predominantly all white town where my family was one of very few Indians. And so I endured a lot of bullying. I endured a lot of just being made fun of by kids at school. And so, from a very young age, I really didn't know where I ever fit in, right? I was too Indian for the kids at school because, I didn't look like everybody else. And I had a name like Vasavi and everyone would mispronounce it and call me Vasavi. And I would not feel confident enough to correct people with my name, So those are, even from a very young age, I didn't even know how to say it out loud because I was so afraid of being made fun of and people not liking me. And so I think it's really no surprise that who I am today is someone who is called the queen of saying it out loud, because I do think, especially as women, that we do not allow ourselves to speak really our deepest truth. We end up, packaging what we say, filtering what we say, overthinking what we're going to say. And, my book, which is going to be out May 16th, is really all about helping you change the inner conversation that you have with yourself so you can be direct and you can be clear and you can stop over explaining yourself.
So what is this about this inner dialogue perhaps everybody has, like, what are we telling ourselves?
Yes. That's exactly honestly, Swanette, anytime I'm working with the client, or even when I'm working with myself, when I'm going through my own, overwhelm, I will literally just say to myself, or if I'm upset about a situation, right? The way that I interrupt that pattern in my head, that thought spiral, I will literally say out loud, Swanette, okay, what am I telling myself about this situation? Because the story and the attitude that we have about a situation is what's causing us the suffering. Right. And if we can be honest with ourselves. So, for example, let's just say I'm going to give a very basic example, right? Let's say you're not invited to something and you find yourself really upset, like you're like, oh, I haven't been included. People don't like me. I would invite someone, and I've done this, to say out loud, wait, what am I upset about right now? What am I telling myself? Oh, I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough. I'm telling myself that I'm not, important enough for people to invite me. Okay, how does that feel? It feels shitty. It feels like, you feel sucky. You feel like alone. You feel like nobody loves you, right? And then what we get to do when we say that out loud is we can be kinder to ourselves. We can be more compassionate, and we can ask ourselves, what do you need in this moment when you don't feel like you're good enough? When you don't feel like people love you and you feel unlovable? It could be as simple as a hug, Swanette. It could be, I need to go outside and get some fresh air, okay? But we will constantly be seeking external validation from other people if we do not learn how to tend to our mind and to our bodies and give ourselves what we need to be regulated human beings.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see sometimes that what we speak to ourselves is so worth. We would never say this to anybody else. Like,
nope.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
And so understanding that this comes from, of course, situations, experiences we had during our childhood. As you said, you were bullied. So how did you create your own mindset or your own beliefs about yourself during that time?
Instead of even saying how I created my own mindset, and I do want to answer that question. So let me answer that first. My mindset, no matter how dark things have gotten in my life, whether I was struggling with my cocaine addiction or I was newly divorced or, on again and off again, bipolar disorder medications, what has always kept me going is that voice of God within me that tells me it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. I didn't know when I was going to stop using drugs. I didn't know how, but I did stop. I just hit 4 years of sobriety from cocaine, March 27th, 2023. I was able to do that by the grace of God. What I've always told myself is it's going to work out. It's going to work out. Trust. It's going to work out. And that has forced me to anchor into the only relationship that I actually need to be working on is the relationship with myself and the relationship that I have with my higher self, right? With the God within me. So that's the mindset. The thing that I often love doing with myself, and I have to do it on a moment-to-moment basis, right? This is not like, oh, once you figure this out, you're healed for life. New situations are going to bring up new things inside of us. So I always ask myself, what's the story that I'm telling myself about this situation? And does this story actually support what I want in my life? If I'm struggling financially and I'm telling myself, see, I'm not good enough at what I do. See, no one wants to buy from me. I suck. Does that actually help me in getting the thing that I want, which is to work with clients, to bring in money? No, it doesn't. So what story do you want to tell yourself? Because you literally are the character, the main character in this story called life. Okay? Every good story, Swanette, has 3 things. It has characters, it has conflict, and it has resolution. We are the character. The conflict is within, and we also have external things. And the resolution is what happens when we come to terms and we heal and we repair this conflict within. That's it. So I've always looked at my life as like a movie, and I'm just evolving and growing. This character is evolving and growing. So it's taken a while, but I do trust. Even now, even during this book launch process of my book, it's been, woo, like the increase in visibility, all these new eyeballs on me. People like saying my name, and I have a book and it's going to be in like bookstores. Like, I just keep myself very grounded in who I am. That is what matters. I want to enjoy this process. I like who I'm becoming in this process. The process of creation for me is what I really care about more than even the result. You can say all the negative reviews about my book. There's also going to be positive reviews about my book. Either way, I did my job. And that's how I look at it. My job as a creator is to put my thoughts on paper, is for me to shoot that video, is for me to do this interview, whatever. Once I've completed it, it's done. It's up to the people to decide. That is the point of art, right? The people will decide. I don't need to control the hell out of it anymore. So I love who I've become in this process.
Yeah, and this is so amazing. And I think it is about understanding on the one hand, yeah, we have this belief that we're created when we were very young, and we made up our own story about who we are depending on how we have been treated. But there's always a moment that we can totally change this and create a new life that is not really so depending on our past, because it starts in this moment and we are the ones that are creating this. Absolutely. Yes. So I would like to understand a little bit more about how this is creating this own stage for ourselves. What can we do so that we can think positive, that we can create an amazing life and not struggling with life anymore? What is possible for us? How can we do that?
I want to say even more than having a positive life, I want to go a step beyond that and say it's about having a real life, one that is created by you. Everything from what you wear to what you drive to what you eat, everything is curated by you. This is your life, not, oh, mom told me to do this, so I'm going to do it. Stop consulting with your parents. Consult with yourself. Consult with the God within you. Stop consulting with everybody like they know about your life. You know about your life, right? So some of the things that I've done and I want to recommend for people to really start to make your life the stage is first thing in the morning, ask yourself, what am I doing for me? What am I doing that's fun for me? What is something that I'm going to do to, clear out my channel and be more clear on the inside? Like, here's the thing. I'm the center of my world. Everyone else is just revolving around it. Now, that may be looked at as being narcissistic, but it's not. I know that when I am the sun in my life, S-U-N, when I am the bright, shining light in my own life, I can only radiate that light onto others. So for everything that you do, you got to ask yourself, is this me? Does this feel like me? Or is it somebody else? Why am I doing this? Like one of the best questions you can just ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why? Like, why do I give a shit about this? If you can get clear on why you're doing it and it actually means something to you and it's aligned with your values and aligned with your priorities, great, keep doing it. But if you're being honest with yourself and you're doing something and you're like, why am I even doing this? Why am I in this one-sided friendship? Why am I in this relationship where I'm growing and the other person isn't? And more often than not, we stay in things because we're afraid of outgrowing others. We don't want to be alone. We're afraid of hurting other people, but we actually cause more harm than good when we do that. And so really look at everything in your life. Look at the things in your business. Look at how you socialize. Look at how you show up. Just ask yourself, like, why do I do that? Like, just question what you do, but not from a place of judging, but to actually get really clear on why you do things, right? Like, so I'm going to give you a perfect example. I love to cook. I have my way of cooking. First of all, I went to culinary school. Okay. So I'm a beast in the kitchen. I have my very methodical way of prepping my vegetables, cooking, cleaning up, plating. And I always used to want to explain that to other people. Like, oh, I'm sort of weird. And I'm like, I stopped doing that, Swanette. You know why? I'm not weird. This is how I do things. Why do we have to label it as weird? Right? So these are the things that I really want women to stop doing, is stop giving a reason for who you are. Stop giving an explanation about why you are the way you are. Just be who you are. And whatever comes to you will come to you. You'll be able to handle it. So that's really my message. And I want women who read my book to change their inner conversation, stop over explaining themselves, and just be clear and direct. You're not scary when you're clear and direct. If other people are afraid of you, that's their own insecurity.
Yeah, and I think there will always be people who love you and who don't like you. So whatever you do, if it is coming out of your own truth, or if it is coming from the outside, you will never fit to everybody. You will never be loved by everybody. So especially if you are kind of creating from your own mission, so to say, when you're creating out of what is really true for you. So if people get aware now, okay, perhaps there's something that I'm kind of a people pleaser, I'm doing things for other people more than I really create from my own passion or my own mission. How can they handle these kind of situations when they're still kind of, in this people pleasing mode, or have the feeling, or I really need to do something because other people told me? How can they go out of that?
Let's just flip people pleasing upside down. You're not a victim being a people pleaser. You're pleasing others because you cannot be with displeasing others. That's a you problem. That's no one else's problem. So let's get really real on why you people please. You people please because you cannot sit with the discomfort of displeasing others. That's where the work begins. Okay. So when you learn how to sit with the discomfort of what other people may think, if you say no or set a boundary, that is when you will stop trying to please others and you will start pleasing yourself. But you are not a victim as a people pleaser. You know damn well when you say yes to others, when you really want to say no. You're choosing to go against yourself every time. So if you're currently calling yourself a people pleaser, stop telling yourself you're a people pleaser and instead be like, what do I need to do to expand my ability to be with the discomfort of displeasing others? Nobody's putting a gun to your head unless they are, and then that's a different conversation. You don't know how to be with displeasing others. Start getting okay with disappointing people.
So, but this also means like really stepping out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And creating something new that you never experienced before. Because if you behave in a different way than you normally do, people will react in a different way, I think.
Here's what I really want to say to people. I believe anyone listening to your podcast obviously wants to do good work in the world, right? You want to impact people. You wouldn't be sitting here absorbing these conversations. I'm going to say this, and I want to give you some context. I pretty much lost my 30s. In my 30s, right? I was in and out of rehab. I was in 2 very toxic relationships. I had just gotten divorced. I was like, I'm 40. I am 40 now. So this is like basically 7 to 8 years of my 30s, right? I want to say this to everyone who's like, how do I do this? And I got to stop doing this. You're literally going to die one day. Okay. And I tell this to people, and it's like, you're putting your energy on things that could absolutely be spent on the thing that you want to be doing. Okay. And for me, I am trying to get people to a place where it's like, listen, the only guarantee in life, the only certainty in life is that we have an expiration date. What are you actually waiting for? Are you telling me that pleasing others and doing for others is greater than your desire to spread your mission and your message and be of service in a larger way? It's like you get to pick what you want. And as long as you are still wrapped in your narrative, you've made your purpose and your mission a negotiable. You got to make your purpose and your mission and your message a non-negotiable. You haven't yet. And once you do that, you will quite literally move through so quickly those fears of what other people think. You know why I don't care really what other people's opinions of me is because I trust in what I'm saying. I know where I'm speaking from and I know my intention. I know myself, where I'm coming from. If I know myself and I approve of myself and I trust myself, please tell me why some Joe Schmo on the internet or even a family member, tell me why your opinion is more important than mine. It's not. Of me, my opinion of myself is more important. So it's really a matter of like, y'all, wake up. Wake up. You've read the books, you've listened to the podcast, you've heard these conversations. You know what you need to do. Admit that you're scared and do it anyway. That's it. You got stuff to do while you're here. Like, I'm literally here to do what God is telling me to do. I get messages from that voice inside of me that tells me what to do, and I listen. I have time to be worried about what other people think of me. Who are you to me? When I am literally being guided by the most divine power that there is. Get your connection with yourself and your source stronger. Sit in silence. Be with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself. Treat yourself with respect. And then you won't really care if other people don't like you because you respect yourself. That's it.
Yeah. And I think it is still being brave to step into this situation of speaking out the own truth if there is so much judgment outside and so much bullying as you had in your own life. And I am as well, like always being
here.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say about you're worried about being bullied online. You bully yourself. We have voices in our head that bully us. Learn to deal with the bullying voices in your head. And when you hear somebody else bullying you, you'll be like, oh, whatever. I know how to deal with that because you've dealt with that same voice in your head. There's no such thing as other people. You are other people. We are the other person. All those other people, they exist in your head. Deal with the voices in your head and the fears in your head, and other people become irrelevant. Yeah. And I don't mean irrelevant like you shouldn't care about other people and be kind, but I'm going to sit here and waste my time worrying about a thought in somebody's head. A thought in somebody's head. Okay, cool. Let's play this out. I could maybe change who I am and make sure that I say all the right things and do all the things so I can control the thought in your head, but I'm abandoning myself in the process. That's not fun. I don't want to do that. So you go on and keep thinking what you want to think. I have my own thoughts about myself and I like them.
Yeah, and I think this is also about the energy that comes out. Like, now your energy is very strong and you're absolutely certain about yourself, what you want to bring out. So I think at the same time as we resonate with these kind of energies other people send, some people will not even show up anymore. Like if you are...
But I just want to I want to even talk about the question. We're still talking about other people. Right? This is where everyone's conversation is, oh, other people. I don't care about other people. Other people live in my head. We need to have an I-based conversation. Get clear on the things inside of you so that your conversation is no longer about other people. I don't sit and talk about other people. Which other people are we talking about? It seems imaginary to me. Who are these other people? Because these are all just thoughts in our head that we're expressing. So we need to look at what we're telling ourselves and where our focus is. Why is our focus even on other people? That's why you got to anchor into your purpose and your truth. Have something that's guiding you. And I'm letting you know right now, it's not other people that are guiding you. Definitely. You don't want other people. Yeah. No.
And still the energy that you spread will resonate with people, for example, you want to attract in your life as well. Even though it comes out of yourself, there is something like this ripple effect of what you're bringing out into the world. This will come back as well. So if you stand there like you're doing now and being very present, being very strong inside yourself, this will be attractive for people who feel the same and want to say, okay, no, let's have her on my show, or let's no, have a conversation with her, or let's be the client or whatever. So I think that this energy that comes at this moment when we are true to ourselves, when we are strong and start from creating within and then outside. This is not thinking about other people, but it is kind of like being the magnet for other people who want to come into our life then.
And let me say this, instead of worrying about what other people think, you'll start thinking, what do the people need? Instead of worrying about what other people think, how about how other people are feeling right now? And what can I do to help alleviate that pain? What art can I put out there? What beautiful reel can I put out there? What a flip. When you stop thinking about, oh, what do other people think? How about somebody out there is in pain today? What can I do to help them? Instead of what will other people think? What an ego-based question. It's so like, it has nothing to do with, it's so rooted in ego and like no connection to your mission. What are other people going to think? What other people are going to think? Am I inside their head? I don't know. But I certainly know I have lived way too much life for me to be focused on that. I've gone through too much and I've come through the other side to even be concerned. I don't care. You're keeping me from my purpose. Those thoughts keep me from my purpose. So you got to really look at, is this thought, is this story, is this getting me closer to where I want to go? Period. Anchor into something.
Yeah. And what would happen if you won't speak out your truth, if you won't help other people with the wisdom you do have and with the experience you do have? Yeah, I think this is being egoistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoarding your gifts. You're so concerned about what other people think. Meanwhile, there are other people out there that could really benefit from what you have to share, but you're too stuck in your head because you care so much what other people think. How self-conscious are you? You know, it's like, come on, you have work here to do. You've got to be tough with yourself sometimes. I call it gentle determination in my book. And by tough, listen, I don't think you can be consistently tough with yourself every day. I am not tough with myself every day. Trust me. I'm actually very kind and very curious. I am determined, but that's why I've lasted for 11 years in this business. I didn't go out of business. I still always have clients. People always still want to have me on their podcast. It's how you talk to yourself. You want sustained continuity in your journey as a business owner, and it's not going to happen if you're being rude, calling yourself stupid, calling yourself incompetent, like you're the most toxic person in your life. No wonder you want to give up.
Yeah, and I've seen this especially as the 2 last years or 2.5 have been difficult for some people, and there have been some people who created a new business, became entrepreneurs, and used this time really to step into their own mission, and others who were the ones that were giving up because they didn't feel that they can make it through. So
that's right.
Yeah, I see that it is especially therefore important to really have clarity and awareness. What is the mission you want to bring out, and what is it that you are standing for? And that a lot of people, have no clarity about that. How can people understand this? How can they get more clarity about what is really coming out of them or needs to come out of them, and what is their mission?
Know yourself. Build a relationship with yourself. We all know how to do it when we're dating someone. We all know how to set the mood. We all know how to get close to someone. We all know how to get intimate. I mean, most of us we know how to get close to people. Get close to yourself. Build a relationship with yourself. Find out what you like. Find out what you don't like. Find out what your sense of fashion is. Find out how you ground yourself. Find out, how you like to release your emotions. Find out the kind of friends that you like. Find out what kind of movie, find out about yourself. Be clear. I'm a yes or a no. For me, it's like you could say to me, you want vanilla ice cream or you want coffee ice cream? I want coffee ice cream. You want this or that? I know exactly what I want. There's no no, I know myself. You can't tell me who I am. I know who I am, right? You got to know yourself, and you got to be okay with who you are. You really got to be okay with who you are. I'm not perfect. I'm not living on some mountain claiming to be some Swami. Okay, I am very flawed. I'm very imperfect, and I show this, but I am very anchored into who I am in spite of all of that, because of all of that, everything that I've been through. So take the time to know who you are. Be curious like you would with somebody else, like you are with your clients, but you're so understanding with your friends. Do that to yourself. I don't trust people who aren't kind to themselves. I don't trust people who call themselves stupid or this or that, and they're being serious about it. Like, it's nothing if you joke about it, but I don't trust people who don't speak kindly to themselves, because I'm next on that list.
And you said you have also the connection to your higher self, or something that is the creator, or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah, I say God. I don't have an issue with saying God. I'm Hindu. We have the most peaceful religion. God is just an almighty. I mean, keeps me humble. So
how did you figure out about this connection?
I was raised into it. I'm a Hindu Brahmin. Okay. My family I come from an ancestor of priests. I was taught this from a young age, that there's no separation between us and God. We are the creator. The creator and the creation are one and the same. My mother instilled that in me when I was 5 years old. I know that there's no separation. I am you, you are me, Swanette. There's no difference between us, except our name is different. You have a different skin color than me. We speak, yes, we look very different, but is there really any difference between you and I? I don't think so. At the core, don't we all want the same things? Don't we all want to be loved? Don't we all want to be seen? Don't we all want to just be honest and true to ourselves? So there's really no separation. So even when I get on stage, or I come to this podcast interview here, or if I do hosting and I'm in live, I love being with my audience. I don't see a separation between me and my audience.
How can people come in this kind of deep connection that you are definitely in, if they are not raised in this religion, if they have kind of no religion, or perhaps even not connected to spirituality? How they understand more about to connect to this higher self, or to God, or however you want to call that?
Join my community. Say it out loud. It's a great community. It's literally everything we read in the book. And if you resonate with me and you want to be around other people who are committed to a path of being true to themselves, you need to be in community. I don't care if you join my community. Join a group. Be around people that have interests. It could even be a dance class. It could be tennis. It could be, that's how I have communities everywhere. I have my acting community, my voiceover community, my dance community, my tennis community. Find people, get hobbies, meet people. You'll see the God in others, and you'll see the God in yourself. That's all we are, is just God in human form. Get out and meet people. Be a part. If you want to learn how to change the inner conversation, join my group. If you want to learn how to take great photos, join a photography group. Find community. You don't have to do it alone. We literally have over 6 billion people on this planet. Why are you still lone wolf in your life? Yeah. So find people. Yeah. Find fellow humans.
Yeah. For me, it's also connecting to nature. So I feel this kind of spirit in nature, absolutely. And of course, in many other people as well, in animals. And so
here's the thing, Swanette, it's all of it, right? It's join the community. It's spend some time outside. After our interview, I'm taking my dog for a really long walk, putting my phone away. I don't even want to do anything. I just want to be. I want to just feel the breeze. It's so nice outside. Like, it's all of it, right? I have girlfriends that I talked to today, and then I'm going to go for a walk. It's like, do the things that support you. What do you need to be the best functioning, highest functioning human being? And I don't mean functioning like you're productive, but to feel really good, to feel comfortable. What do you need to support you? That is the journey that you're on. Figure it out like you would learn about anybody else. Get curious about other people. And you can use that same curiosity with yourself. I learned that from my father. He was always very curious about people. He learned how to talk to anyone about anything. And he's an immigrant from India. And I learned that. I can talk to anyone about anything. I'm very curious. So I'm also curious with myself, though. Curiosity is very underrated. You need to be curious, not only about others, but about yourself. You become better at sales when you're curious, from a better conversationalist when you're curious. I had this interview yesterday with this host who was like, it was torture for me, because you could tell she didn't have an original thought, and she was just responding. She wasn't actually listening to what I was saying. We'd finished the interview, but it was pretty terrible. And I said to her, in the future, you might want to actually give a shit about your guests and their story, because we're coming on here and sharing our life, and your responses are bland. I didn't say it just like that, but I said, if you need my help, I can help you with this. Bring more of your personality to the conversation. You're going to fall flat. I'm carrying the entire conversation as a guest. That's not fun for me.
Yeah, but you have to say something because you are the guest and you have such an amazing story. So I think it is important also to be the interviewer, stepping a little bit back. So this is also my habit. And I really want to share your special story, and especially now speaking a little bit about your book. So the book is coming out in May, so very close to when this podcast is released. And can you tell us a little bit more about the book? So how was you inspired to create this book, to write this book? What was kind of this trigger that you wanted to create it?
It was a beautiful creation created by my editor, my agent, and my book proposal coach. I wrote this book because I had to learn how to talk to all the different voices in my head. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was 19. So this is one of the ways that I learned to slow my mind down. Instead of letting my mind control me, I control my mind. I control the conversation in my mind. My mind does not control me. So I've taken 20 years of what it's like to not only live with bipolar disorder, but to also help thousands of entrepreneurs over the past 11 years change the conversation that they're having with themselves. One great thing about this book is you really don't need a journal. There are no journal prompts. There are verbal prompts. Every exercise you speak out loud to yourself, and I give you scripts. I'm teaching you how to be kinder, more gentler, determined, and really become the teacher, friend, mother, father, sister, brother, coach that you needed, therapist that you needed for yourself. So if you go to sayitoutloudbook.com, you got a bunch of really cool bonuses instantly. The one bonus that I'm really excited about is a virtual book club that we will be having in June. We're going to go through 3 chapters a week for a month. There's 12 chapters. It'll be you and me. It's the best way to get access to me, especially during this time, during my book launch time. And you also get some other cool bonuses like meditations and trainings and stuff like that. I curated all my bonuses to really help whoever's reading this to open up their throat chakra, really feel more comfortable in their bodies, and be more confident in themselves. Life's too short to be insecure. It's too short.
For whom is this book? Like, who is a perfect person to read it?
Anyone who has a brain and who has thoughts, period.
Okay, so everybody.
Yeah, everybody. And I know that that's the worst rule in marketing, but here's the thing. We all could afford to change the conversation that we're having with ourselves. But I'm going to say specifically for my creative people who have a tendency to overthink, my perfectionists, if you feel like your personality is really not in your content and you feel like your throat chakra is a little blocked off, it's probably because you have voices in your head managing you. And so your real self can't come out. I don't have voices in my head telling me, boss, don't say this, don't say that. I just go. I've cleared those voices out. They work with me. They don't work against me. My mind does not attack me. So it has often felt like it has attacked me, and I've had to really work on that on and off. And, but for the most part, when I'm in my zone and I'm doing my thing, I'm just here to serve. And the greatest lesson for me, and I want everyone to know this, is it's not good enough to serve others if you are suffering in silence. So these are for my people, you know, you're out there trying to help everybody else. You're so generous, but you're suffering in silence. I want you to stop suffering in silence. So learn how to talk to yourself. Get my book, sayitoutloudbook.com. Thank you.
Yeah. And connected to this book is also your community. So
yes,
who's in this community and what are kind of the topics people speak about? Or yeah.
So my program is 12 weeks. And the next round will be August 2023. It's a 12-week program. I have coaches in there. I have therapists in there. I have authors in there, upcoming authors in there, people with publishing deals. You know, I have my client who's, you know, just starting to break out into the speaking circuit, public speaking circuit, and they all realize that there's more of them that can be brought to the table. And they instantly were attracted to a group called Say It Out Loud. Listen, if you're drawn to a message called Say It Out Loud, it's clear that you have some stuff that you need to release. Okay. And so the 12-week program is literally based on every week of my book. If there's a prompt in every chapter of my book, my book is 12 chapters. My program is 12 chapters. So, and then you also get put inside our Voxer community group where you're constantly speaking out loud and expressing. So I really use it as a safe container for people to, you know, engage and connect with each other in between our live calls that I host weekly for 90 minutes. So you get me for 12 weeks, $500, or two payments of $250, whatever. But, you know, our focus right now is the book, sayitoutloudbook.com. But just know that you are supported one-on-one. I take one-on-one clients. I do group work as well. But right now our focus is the book. And then, yeah, if you go to my website and see other ways to work with me, you absolutely can.
Yeah, so I will put all the links here in the show notes, and this is easy for people to reach out to you.
Thank you.
So last but not least, is there anything that you would like to add that I didn't ask you yet?
No, I think I'm good. I think I've said everything I needed to say with the passion and the conviction that I wanted to say. And I think I'm good. I think I've said enough.
Okay. So thank you so much. And it was amazing listening to you, and especially feeling your energy and your power, and really understanding that this is your mission and that you really want to help people to speak out loud. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening or watching my podcast, Holistic Creators. If you want to know more about how I can help and support you, have a look at my website, spiritualchangemaker.com. You can also join my Facebook group, Spiritual Changemakers Community. Stay tuned for the next episode by subscribing to this channel. And you also can check the previous episodes.